Hey, hi Vineet. Good
Hi,
afternoon to
Rakesh.
you.
Good
Uh,
afternoon.
how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
So we just have a couple of more minutes to go and then we'll start.
Sure, sure.
And thank you for taking out time, Vineet, to join us.
You're
And
welcome.
yep,
You're welcome.
thank you so
No,
much.
no problem.
Hi,
No
Angelo.
problem.
Good morning to you.
Hi Vineet. Hi Hemant.
Hi, hi. How are you?
Welcome to all the attendees. Hey Angelo, how are you? I don't think we see him over here, although he's listed over there.
No, we can see him. We can see him. So, Angelo, we'll just take another maybe 2 minutes and then we can start. And again, thank you so much, attendees, participants, to be a part of this event. And I'm pretty sure we'll all learn with the experts that we have on board today. So, give us another couple of minutes and we'll start. Thank you.
So, Arun, you are at home.
Oh yes,
Good.
I am.
Hi, Pranay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you, Rakesh.
All right, cool. So all the
Okay.
panelists are in, and we can, kind of start our session. Uh, I'll start with a traditional namaste. Good morning and good evening to all our attendees and esteemed panelists. We at e.Soft hope that you and your families are safe and continue to remain so. So these, as we are all aware of, are difficult times. But with every adversity, it sounds like a cliche, but it's kind of true as well. That opportunity comes with adversity, and that's what we will be discussing today. The panel discussion for today is changing retail dynamics during the pandemic. And this break, which lasted for months in certain countries, allowed retailers or businesses to reinvent themselves, rediscover themselves, and of course, realign themselves. In the near future, we do see a lot of redefinition in the supply chain and the last mile logistics space. uh, Friends, everything is not bleak. And over the last 3 to 4 months, we've seen a lot of new business opportunities emerging, and in these adverse times. So the long short of it is that today in today's discussion with our hands-on industry experts, with their help, we'll understand how, if at all, retail dynamics have changed or are changing, and how does the future of retail looks like. Before we introduce our panelists for the day, I would just want to give you a very short introduction about e.Soft. e.Soft has been providing technology consulting and solutions, digital transformation, and value added services to retailers in different geographies since 2002. And we really pride ourselves as retail enablers. Now, let me take this opportunity to introduce Arun, our managing director. Arun is an IIT Kanpur graduate with Masters in Operations Research from University of Waterloo, Canada. He comes with over 30 years of experience in consulting and implementation of ERPs in multiple verticals, but with special focus on the pharma industry. Um, he set up e.Soft and has been instrumental in ensuring growth and also providing strategic direction to our customers across the board. I'll now hand it over to Arun, who would introduce panelists for the day. Thanks. Arun?
Thank you, Raghib. Good morning, good morning to everybody in America. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody in Africa, and good evening to everybody in India. The topic of today's webinar is extremely important with the pandemic raging worldwide. Retail has changed both online and offline. Today we have a panel, each one of whom are experts in the field of retail. Our panelists are from different parts of the world, and they will be sharing with us the change scenario and how they have coped with these challenges and turn them towards their business gain. Let me start with Angelo. Angelo is based out of Brooklyn, New York. He's a self-made entrepreneur who visualized future retail before the big guys. He established a multi-million-dollar online business before anyone thought that online would become so big. He entered brick and mortar retail, looking at the advantages of having both an online and offline presence before even Amazon got into this model. So Angelo is really he has a lot of foresight in terms of what he sees, and he's always beaten the big guys around. Angelo is a know-all in retail of hardware as well as a real estate giant in New York. Angelo's company is recognized as a leading hardware retailer in upstate New York. Uh, Vineet Mathur, he's based in Lagos, Nigeria. Vineet started his career by establishing himself as a pioneer in the Middle East. After that, he moved to West Africa. As the executive director of Infinity's in West Africa, they're headquartered in Dubai, but their main operations are in Nigeria and Ghana. He has ensured leadership positions for his company in the market of tires, battery, and auto parts market. They have a lot of retail stores too, and he has been instrumental in introducing new products in Western Africa. Vineet specializes in new market development for industrial consumer durables and automobiles. Hemant Shah is based out of Mumbai. He's a chemical engineer from IIT Kanpur. He's a very well-known name in the jewelry business. Decades ago, he pioneered a retail methodology, V-Mobile, for jewelry, which was way ahead of its time. The concept of jewelry on wheels. At that point in time, nobody could have thought that anything like this could get successful. This was a path-breaking venture copied subsequently by a lot of other people. Hemant is currently working as an independent consultant and conducts workshops, webinars, and knowledge sessions under the banner of Thought Shots. His knowledge of retail is immense, both online and offline, not just in the jewelry space, but also in highly innovative products designed by him. I'd like to welcome Pranay Gangwal. He's also from Mumbai. He's a powerhouse, a go-getter with sharp retail acumen. He started his startup, Body First, a scientific evidence-based sports nutrition products company 2 years ago, and has been able to, in the short span of time, set up distribution and a direct-to-consumer brand. A firm believer in self-sufficiency, in the self-sufficiency program of the government of India, and with being an absolutely transparent brand, he has been able to scale up his business. He announced to us, and we are proud to announce that to everyone today, that Body First is now the official nutrition partner of Kings 11 Punjab for the current Indian Premier League. That's the way to go, Pranay.
Thank you, sir.
Raghib, I think you can start the discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, before we jump onto the discussion, let me also walk the attendees through the format of the program. So what's going to happen is this, that, first we'll have this discussion, panel discussion with all our experts. And once that is done, then the attendees will have a 10-minute window to ask questions to all of our experts present here today. And what I would request you to do is that, once you raise your hand, and we'll open your mic up so you can, engage and interact with the experts directly. Once this QA session is done, what we also have for you is a networking session with the e.Soft experts who have been working in retail since the last maybe 15, 20 years now. and it would be an open house, and we'd be able to engage, interact with you guys, and be able to answer any specific questions that you may have for us. So that session would be controlled by Hardik Patel, who's head of our business development, and he'll route the questions to individuals or experts in key areas such as technology, consulting, social media marketing, search engine optimization, or managed services. So without much ado, it's time for our first question. And my first question actually would be to Angelo. And the question is that, when did you, as the president of Hatchet, realize that, this pandemic could really affect your business? And what were the steps taken by you and your team to ensure preparedness and business continuity? So, Angelo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Regan. Can you hear me correctly, properly?
Yep.
We hear you well. It's so good
Okay,
to
cool.
hear you again. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for picking on me first. um, when did I first realize? Well, I mean, it kind of happened really quickly. Though, and looking back on it, was a couple. It looked like there was at least a month, 2 month lag, but it happened very quickly, and um, we kind of noticed it more on the online side of the business. First, there was a drop, but then there was actually a pickup, and in different types of products that normally would not get sold. It kind of threw us off too, because these products were not items that normally got shipped online or sold, or even had we even had the inventory. Um, a lot of liquids, a lot of garden, a lot of much heavier items that we typically don't ship. So there was a lot of challenges, because packing those materials or shipping those products is much more labor intensive than the traditional. So our staffing became overwhelmed with both the traditional orders that we used to get in this time of year, plus the items that were much heavier and much more difficult to package. So that was the biggest challenge we had. And I know it sounds um, uh, kind of like, well, a box is a box. Shouldn't be much difference, but there's entire science how we have to ship a product, where we ship it from, who we ship it with, and how many do we ship in a box. So it is a very complex process. So it does require a lot of um, training and discussion how to do that. And on our brick mortar side, same thing too. There was a big shift in products. Top products that normally doesn't sell was selling. Products that normally sell that we had in the store was not selling. So there was actually a big shift also in those products. A lot more home improvement came along, but those are also very low margin businesses, and there's a lot of overhead that goes along with that. So it was definitely it was very challenging time, and plus all the office workers working remotely. And then we obviously on a brick and mortar store, safety for our employees. So there was a lot of extra steps in cleaning and ensuring that employees were, safe and working safe. And likewise, there was some employees that could not work. So we also lost some key employees that, they had to take care of their kids, or just they couldn't for whatever reason, they just couldn't work during that time. And so it was very challenging time, both from a manpower, from a shift of business, from packaging, just a very totally different way of doing business.
Understood, understood. And I'll come back to you with a couple of follow-up questions. But Pranay, if you could, because you are actually a very early stage startup. So were
Right.
your challenges the similar? I mean, were your challenges similar, or like you face different challenges to run your business and ensure continuity?
So, to be very honest, we are only 3.5 years into the business, so we are like babies. And in these pandemic times, I have two extremities, as two extreme feelings. I would like to share is that firstly, we got struck exactly. It was all so sudden that everything happened. Our orders were practically gone overnight. Last mile delivery was not happening. Me and my wife were in the house and packing orders and sending it out because customers, they need to be delivered their products. So this was one extreme, but the second extreme is that it gave us time to breathe. As a startup, I mean, Raghav, you know of all the people. We started everything with you guys, and it was such a mess for 3 years. It has been a roller coaster ride. Things going wrong, things going haywire. So uh, it gave us time to breathe. What we did is we have a CRM platform, we have an ERP system on board. We've got a very famous celebrity. I don't know how many people know Sunil Shetty over here, but he invested in our company. He's the fitness icon of India. So a lot of things happened in a good way, because for me it's completely different compared to other established brands over here. It gave us time to breathe, to be very honest, and I feel lucky. I mean, I shouldn't say it outright, but pandemic actually gave us time to breathe and get our business actually, into that proper track that we were waiting for so many years.
That's fantastic, and that's fantastic. And do you see? I mean, you talked a lot about technology. So
Correct.
in your planning and in your breathing space, so you see that as something that you could scale your business with up, or is it something else?
I I think we are leading. We are going to the future where Terminator might be just possible. I'm sorry. I mean, I am a true believer of technology, and trust me, my father, my people who work in the company, they all are so always angry with me. Yeah, this guy just gets something or the other every time, which is new, etc., etc. And but yes, we have taken Zoho up, and it has eased out so many things for us. With again with an online platform, we are focusing more on online platform by using the technological tools, internet, to scale up as much as possible. And yes, so yes, we are using technology as much as possible, absolutely, to scale up. And I think it's the future. Anybody who thinks that technology or online is not the future, I think he's talking bullocks. So
Yeah, that's so true. And I've seen you from ground zero, and that's the reason I love you guys so much, because you catch the pulse, and then you move forward all in.
thank you so much,
Uh,
man.
thank you for your answer, Pranay. Vineet, I mean, your challenges, I guess, would be a little different from all other businesses that are here currently, because it's more to do with regulations and fluctuations in foreign currency and regulations. Can you kind of elaborate on the challenges that you faced, some of them which were not in your control, and how did you manage to bypass and still maintain the leadership position which you have governed for so long in that region?
So, greetings to all. Good opportunity to talk. I haven't had uh, a lot of time to be able to interact with people. It's been more of, what is called inward thinking, and talking too much on Zoom, and talking what is called on virtual space. This is also virtual, but at least there is a diaspora of different people. So let's say that Africa, or let's say West Africa, is a different ball game altogether. It's, if you were sitting in Nigeria, you are looking at a net import position for literally anything and everything that a human being desires. So whether it's your milk, or it is your coffee, or it is your the products that we deal with, everything gets imported. So this came as a like a bolt from nowhere. And I was in Germany actually, and I was just flying back on I think 11th or 12th of March. And by the time we started to look around, by 25th we were completely shut down. Now we are a brick and mortar operation because our product is not a finished product. It's not something that an end user can pick up and use, except for a very few things. Majority of the products must be delivered to a brick and mortar and fitted, like a tire or a battery or a lubricant. So uh, the biggest challenge we had was to ensure that we had goods in warehouse, because in an economy which we work in, if you do not have stocks, you can kiss goodbye to all businesses that you think of. So the first thing was to make sure that we focus on the supply line and make sure that these suppliers are ensuring movement of goods somehow, even at a higher cost. So we managed to uh, do that, although there was a lag of about 1.5, 2 months. But you carry that kind of inventory in countries like this. So we had that, that gap, that space available to us to, to wait for a while and to make sure that the goods came online. Um, which brings me to the point that, yes, how did automation help? The automation would have definitely helped to stay connected to our centers across the nation. Now, that is what we were trying to do with e.Soft before this whole thing hit. But that's something which we very much desire, that we stay connected to all our centers to make sure that the customer is delivered what he wants. And that can only happen when there is a very efficient system which is operating in the background. So that is what we miss as of now, and that is what we intend to do as soon as things get better. And obviously, what it will also give us is that even the software providers will start thinking that there is a possibility of a pandemic and how to react in a pandemic and what extra needs to be added to the system to even take care of such things. So what we did was essentially concentrate on the supply chain to make sure it was available. This country, unfortunately, is not really very diversified in terms of economy. So it's a oil dependent, and then the oil prices crashed. The foreign exchange availability became meager. Now, when foreign currency becomes meager, then the government starts putting all kind of controls. So getting hold of money was a very, very big challenge. You may sell in local currency and you can get the money in local currency, but how do you convert it into dollars? So fortunately, since we have our offices across the globe and our center is in Dubai, we managed to survive in that part of the story and brought in the goods. Once you have the goods, then you start to look at where to focus on, because the retail completely died in April. I mean, died. We were compelled to close down everything, and this went on till May also. So April and May, the retail completely shut down because if I sell something, I must fit that thing. So since the fitment centers were closed, the sales from retail, which is the most profitable element of a business, did die down. But then there are corporates, there are business houses, there are industries which have to operate. They cannot, they are processed industries which don't close. So we focused on them and we made sure that we remain a preferred partner and a reliable partner even in those difficult times and ensure deliveries. So which required special permits from the government, give them declarations that these are critical supplies so the vehicles can move across the country. So whatever recovery started to happen was started to happen through a corporate and free business accounts, which is where a lot of focus went in. And that is what allowed us to, pull back to almost about 70% by June end. And then from July, things have only improved. The retail has also opened, though it's not in full time. Obviously, difficult times call for difficult decisions. Some of the team members understand, some don't understand. So we also had to let go of a few. We had no choice over there because in this particular time, I think one has to, an employee and an employer both have to come on a common platform. If they continue to, push their agenda only, then it becomes a problem. So we managed to do a fair amount of convincing and managed to retain most of them. Uh, so the journey now is becoming more complex because harder regulations are coming in. Availability of forex will determine how things go forward. Uh, we had the option of third-party billing, which also the government now says it must only come from manufacturer. So all these things are posing challenges. But I say that my learning has probably gone up 50% more. You just keep sitting and trying to wonder how next and what next to take on to. So in terms of learning, it has been fantastic. In terms of getting customers appreciation of being able to service them in these difficult times has been a great learner and a great point of satisfaction for us. Which is why I think across the region of Middle East and Africa, I think we were the first to recover, followed by Saudi and followed by Dubai. So that in that order, we picked up our businesses. But surprisingly, Ghana remained stable. We actually never lost any business there, and we continue to remain on track. It's again country to country. But yes, I would say the biggest takeaway is that it's a great learning time. And it is also a great reminder to everybody that if you are not really supported by a great systems in the background, you will end up suffering. So that is my take, actually.
Thank you so much for your inputs, Vineet. Hemant, we'll come to you with the same question. I mean, because you come from a trade where, look, feel, all of that really, really matters. You've been in jewelry for this long. But what were the challenges that you or your, clients face, the clients, the big names that you consult with?
Uh, Thanks, Ragib, and hello, everybody. It's been great listening to Angelo and Vineet and Pranay. Ours is a different business, and I don many different caps. Let me first go to a business where we faced and we were really worried and stressed out as soon as the pandemic started. And that's my jewelry part of the business. Our first challenge came when we realized that by the end of March, we were not receiving product that we should be shipping out for Mother's Day. If you know how the cycle works, I have to ship out Mother's Day product by the end of March, otherwise it doesn't get into the retail stores in time. And we were panicking, and we were every day writing emails to our customers all across the US saying that, okay, there is a problem, the factory has shut down and blah, blah, blah. And they kept telling us that, see what you can do. And then came mid-April, and we got letters from all of them, emails from all of them saying, don't ship anything till we tell you. Okay, for us, this was like the whole business coming to a standstill. We could not manufacture and we could not ship out, nor did the customer want any of the goods at that time. And that led to a good amount of challenges, even financial, because we had a lot of raw material ready for Mother's Day and other stuff, which was now just going to lie around with nothing to do. And a lot of the product that you do for Mother's Day cannot really sell at Christmas all the time. So we knew we are looking in for a long haul of where we are going to sit on the inventory. That business has still not picked up as well as we would like to. But with some of our clients whom I consult with, we have had this opportunity to innovate and improve things that has led to unimaginable successes. Let me give you two small examples. I won't take too long. I consult with a jewelry retailer who has 3 outlets in the US, all on the West Coast. And when the pandemic started and people stopped coming to their shops, we decided we needed to do something. With the support of some of the software people, we actually introduced AR into their existing website, literally overnight, over a weekend. And then we reached out to all the 28,000 emails that they had saying that this is there, sit on your home, try the jewelry, and then you can select any 6 pieces and come to our shop. You select which of the 3 venues you want to come to. It will be a curbside choosing opportunity. You do not have to get out of your car and come into the shop. And we designed this tall mirrors with UV boxes inside which the jewelry would be kept, and the salesperson would go out to the car with that thing on a trolley, give them the jewelry to wear, and then they would buy it. And we did very well with it. In fact, they sold more jewelry than they used to sell during a normal month in April and May, which is not really a big season for selling jewelry. Then what we did is we capped it up 2 months later, where we did a Zoom party where we told everybody that you click photographs of the jewelry you bought on you and send it to us. We will select 5 winners and we give them some prizes. Okay. We had more than 500 people on the Zoom call at that time. And of course, we sent everybody a bottle of wine and some cheese.
I did not receive one. I
Yeah,
mean,
because you didn't buy the jewelry. You didn't buy the jewelry, nor did your wife. I think you didn't let your wife spend. Anyway,
don't even let her hear that.
so that was one super success that we had. With the same company, another instance where we did brilliantly and which really became a talk of the town was that there was a couple who wanted to get engaged. The guy was sitting in Los Angeles and his fiance was in San Diego. And they wanted to select the ring together. So they asked us how we can do that. So we organized a Zoom date for them. Okay, we had previously taken good videos of all the jewelry rotating, all sides and everything. We sent both of them a bottle of champagne in Los Angeles and San Diego with some fruit and this and that and everything. And then we organized a date for them. And they were so thrilled with it. And they were so enamored and lost control, so to say, that the guy who had originally asked for a budget of $4,000 spent $8,000 on the engagement ring. So this was an opportunity we got to innovate and show people that things can be changed very easily. Coming to the flip side, both my consultancy business as well as a software, a SaaS model that I run, which is called Assure Do, which is compliance, task, and meeting management system. Both of them flourished. In fact, it was like the pandemic gave us an opportunity to expand our wings. When I was consulting, I used to consult only in the major towns because I used to find traveling to villages very cumbersome and very, bothersome. And now I actually consult with people who are in villages where there is only one jewelry shop in a 50-mile radius, 50-kilometer radius. Okay. And I consult with them on video calls. And that's been a great opportunity and a great learning. I did not know so much about the rural business till the pandemic started, which I do now know very well. So it has been a great learning curve for us. Yes, I would do things differently if I come across such a situation again, but then that's because we've learned certain things which we had not visualized in the past. But all said and done, as far as the jewelry business is concerned, I know it's going to be a slow take because jewelry is discretionary spending in the true sense. Whenever there is a challenge, it is the first to get hit and the last to recover. Okay, especially fine jewelry. So we know we are there, we are going to struggle, and we've got to keep innovating. And we've been doing a great amount of that. Maybe if we have time, I'll talk a little about how we changed our product and all, only so that, like as somebody told me, all the ready fashion garment online sales, more than 80% of the sales has been loungewear. And we have actually designed jewelry that will go well with loungewear and which you can wear at home. So that's a change that you've got to make. That's the learning, that's the adaptation that you have to do. Please.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Hemant. Angelo, I had a follow-up question with what you earlier said. You talked about, suddenly there were products, SKUs that you never sold and suddenly they were in demand. So, I mean, did the supply chain, your back end, actually support you the way that you expected, or did you face any hurdles there?
Or the supply chain, chain pretty well went to shot. The So our fill rate from our from our distributors generally is about 98, 99%. Bad months is 97%, meaning that when we place an order, we generally get 97%, 98%, 99% of all the products that we want. Sometimes it may be a little bit longer lead time, whatever, but that's fine. That's expected. I would say around April going to May, our fill rate was 30%, which means that when we place an order of 100% of all our products, we only got 30% what we wanted. And that 30% were the items that wasn't really selling. And they were selling, and we ordered them, obviously. But the high demand items, people that were, those items either had a lead time or we just couldn't get it. And so that it definitely threw the entire system in shock. It really did. Our distributors worked overtime to get us the products. We have our own trucks. I know that there was problems even for the trucking, getting deliveries to our stores. We were fortunate enough that we had our own truck, that we never had an issue as far as picking up the merchandise from our distributor or manufacturer and get into our location. So that issue we did not face, fortunately. But getting product was very difficult. And that, of course, translated to an issue with sales, obviously. So, and not knowing what we're going to get. Either this week we might get the product that was selling, that people wanted, and that, like say, for example, soil. A lot of customers wanted soil. So we'll tell them, hey, we might have it next truck. And then find out we didn't come on the truck after they said they were going to bring it. And then have to tell customers, oh yeah, by the way, we didn't get it. And so there was a lot of disappointment because customers definitely were looking for the product. So yeah, it was definitely very challenging.
Yeah, it surely would have been. Unfortunately, Pranay has another meeting to go to. So before you go, Pranay, I have another question for you, and then we can come back to the panel. Do you think, I mean, since the last maybe 4 to 5 months, have you seen the customer behavior change, both in terms of their buying behavior and their expectation? And if so, what precise steps did Body First take to ensure that this customer can still relate with your brand and its delivery? So, Pranay.
Okay, so I'll just answer the first part of the question because, see, we are a nutrition brand, correct? Fortunately for us, we we were the most in demand. Okay, people were looking out to be, people were looking out to get healthy products. People started to work out, so that actually increased the sale for products like proteins and BCAAs. And the next part was even people, and trust me, in India, unfortunately, people still believe that nutrition is pharmaceutical. Unfortunately, so so making them believe that this astaxanthin or ashwagandha capsule is actually not a pharmaceutical product. It's a nutraceutical product which is used, which you should take for a long term. It's none of these products will give you a short term thing like a paracetamol or an ibuprofen. So that is still a hurdle that we are facing. But to answer the second part of the question, what what things made easy for us is that because of technology. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm coming back on technology time and again. It saved our asses. Trust me, I'm not kidding. We are still spending so much on Facebook. We are still spending so much on Instagram. We're still spending so much on all the social media networks, and we're getting that kind of recognition, which Raghav would know that we never had in the past 3.5 years. Never. Nobody knew what Body First was. Even now, not many people do know, but yes, now we have started to get calls back. Distributors are calling us. Customers are trusting our products even more, and more people are looking for healthy products, and we are one of the only products, or maybe one of the only brands, I would rather say, who is scientifically proven to provide that gap which is there. And the communication that we are oh yes when it comes to communication, what we additionally did, I'm sorry, I think I've completely lost the question, but I would just like to say my learnings. I've completely lost track of the question, but there are a few things I would like to people to know as a startup what we did and what you're facing and what things went right. uh, what we did is, India again, unfortunately, like I said, people still believe that nutrition is not for them. So what we're doing is we've actually shot and spent a lot on awareness videos. Okay, and this is one thing that anybody in the startup, if anybody's there in the participants who are a startup or thinking to go for a startup, awareness is the key, especially in my industry. I think in any industry, as a matter of fact, if you're not educating your consumers or your future clients, they will 101% go to your competitor. And this is one thing that we are doing extremely well. We have shot 350 episodes, by the way. targeting cholesterol management, targeting uh, eye management, joint pain, muscle pain, targeting kids, middle-aged men, women, everybody. And that has actually propelled us to another level in our in our competition. And we have actually started to get calls from investors. People are ready to invest left and right in this pandemic times, and it's unheard of. We are getting in three we're getting in three number, what do you call this, 3-digit of value evaluation investment, that people are actually thinking to invest in nutrition especially. So yeah, I'm sorry, I just messed up the question, but I was just over enthusiastic, and I was just this is a very excellent platform, Raghav. Thank you so much for having me over here.
Thank you
And
so much. And
Thank
before I
you.
let you go,
Yeah. Pranay, thank you
I
so
mean,
much for
all the
joining
all
us.
the consumers that are out there who believe in fitness, just like me, I worry about fitness quite a lot. So yeah, but coming back, so Pranay and his team would be launching a mobile app which would give you an
yes,
unmatched
yes,
personalized services on your mobile devices, be it iOS or Android. And Pranay and his team is working really, really hard to ensure that it fits every consumer, be it preteens, teens, middle-aged people, so on and so forth. So Pranay, thank you so much. And before you go,
yeah, yeah.
whenever you get a chance, just say my hi to Pretty Zinta.
Thank you,
Definitely.
Pranay.
Before I go, I would just like to thank you, Himanji. Excellent what you did with with the jewelry and the box. I mean, that I think I even typed excellent. It's just my hands just couldn't stop. It was a beautiful initiation that you started. Superb. I'm fortunately I'm extremely young, and I'm getting to learn all these things, and I'm sure it will only help me, to increase and improve my business in whatever ways. And Mr. Mathur, thank you so much again for whatever you have said. It was amazing. And
Thank you.
Angelo, again, thank you so much for your contribution over here as well. And Arunji, I think we have met once.
Yes, we have. We
Only
have.
yes, I think we met in
We
your
have.
office some time back. And
That's right.
thank you so much. And Raghib
Thank you
sir,
so much,
Pranay,
Pranay, for coming and enlightening us with all the
Pranay,
secrets of
yes sir.
before you go, I would like to sometime meet you and convince you that I'm younger than you.
It would be my pleasure, sir. It would be my
I
pleasure.
would be part of that gang as well, Hemant. So yeah,
Just
I'll also
to,
join.
Himmat is
uh,
always at that.
Yes, Vidit, I think we should.
we
but
have
just
3 years. So yeah, thank
yes,
you so much, Pranay, for
yes,
your
No,
time.
no,
Thank you
no.
so
But
much.
yes, yes.
Pranay should share this app because this is an interesting part of the story. We all believe that getting into this wellness products, is it right or wrong? But it would be good to know how to take this forward.
Okay,
Maybe
thank
we
you.
do this business over here. I don't know.
Oh wow, that'll be great, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. This
always
guy
good.
is your go-to if you want to if you Pranay
Exactly.
seriously want to enter the West African or the Middle East
We are actually
market.
looking to.
He is your
Vinith
go-to
is the
man.
guy. Vinith
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
is
he is the
really
guy.
well known in that part of the world, and
Yes,
he's
sir.
done a
Let
great
me.
job with whatever the products that he's done.
Oh, so I will definitely take your contact details from Raghib. Raghib, sir, before I go, can I just share a small detail, a story about of the products that we have did and how it has made a difference?
Please go
Is it
ahead.
okay?
Please go
Okay.
ahead. Yep.
So, Mr. Mathur, I'll tell you just a story. My grandmother, and this is where everything comes, wherein body first came in the picture. Uh, my grandmother has been a patient of osteoporosis for almost 45 years now. She's 76. So since she was 25, unfortunately, she is a patient of osteoporosis, and she has cried herself to sleep 35 years of that life. Okay, every day she's been crying, and in the past 2 years, and that's where body first came in the picture. I always wanted. I couldn't see my grandmother, just cry, and she was having 102 fever for 35 years, practically every second day. Okay, she
My
would get up
goodness.
and she will have a fever. I mean, it was that
Oh,
ridiculous. One of our products, okay, two products that has started on her. She has she's out of pain for the past 8 months now.
Wow,
wow.
Correct.
that's
She has no
absolutely
pain
impressive.
whatsoever. She sleeps peacefully. Her muscles aren't
Wow.
paining anymore. I mean, I mean, she cries because of happiness now. But a mother, you can't stop a mother's crying. But yeah, so I just wanted to share this wellness story. It's a beautiful thing. Nutrition is the future. And I think I would be, sir. Let's connect a post. Whenever you're free. It will be my honor to
Sure, sure.
talk to you also.
Because a lot of us, including me, we are generally rather sedentary type of leading life, sitting in planes and sitting in meetings and doing nothing.
Correct.
So these kind of things are really helpful, and it makes a good business case actually. In these times, whatever you are doing, you must keep looking for opportunities.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody. It was an
Thank
amazing
Thank
you.
you,
session.
Pranay,
And
for
thank you so
joining
much.
us. Thank you so much.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening ahead. Bye
Yep,
bye.
thank you. So, all right. So my next question, Hemant, I'll start with you. My next question is, your, like you said, your business was completely shut down for maybe a month or two, and you kind of figuring out the way forward. So, what was it that you were thinking about for the short and the long term in terms of your business? Has your strategic vision changed? Have you I mean, kind of how do you has there been a shift in your thinking as a business owner or as a consultant?
Yes. Both on the business front that I run as well as a consultant, there has been a major shift. In fact, a shift has happened, so to say, in the processes as well as in the way we develop our product. In fact, very frankly, we used this 4 months because, see, uh, I think, let me give you a little background about how I run my business. My jewelry business today, I have no factory, I have no employees. We are a small business, but we have zero employees. Everybody that we work with is a freelancer, right from my designer to my CAD people to my manufacturing to my QC, everybody is freelancing. I work with 13 designers, out of which 11 of them I have never even met personally in my life. Okay, so we use this opportunity where all the white collar, the knowledge workers were able to contribute and work seamlessly. And therefore, what we did is that when we were having so many challenges with product and how do I manage to carry a wider range of product, more SKUs without really, you know, putting in lots of more money, is that we have redesigned most of our product into components where we stock the components and we assemble them overnight as soon as we get an order. So we have been able to literally cater to close to 80% of our SKUs without having any additional inventory. Okay, so that has been a big shift in the way we think, and we are following that now as a design paradigm. That is the way we design product now, where yes, some processes change, which is a part of the thing. All my jewelry is actually craft based. So I have the dokra craft and the bidri craft and paper mache, tarakashi, wood carving. So I use all these crafts, which are traditional Indian crafts, to create modern jewelry using that. Now, during the pandemic, even those villages were closed. We do not uproot any of the craftsmen from their villages. We don't upset the ecosystem in any way whatsoever. We visit them, we get the components from them, and then we make it into jewelry here in Mumbai. And in some cases in Jamnagar, because Jamnagar is the only place where I could find somebody who is willing to do silver casting without using electricity or chemicals. So we are a green product. But it has changed the entire way we think. And for close to about 2 weeks, we were actually experimenting with every one of our designers and brainstorming between us to figure out how we can handle all the SKUs without increasing our inventory. And that has been a big learning curve as well as a big success for me, which I'm now emulating and telling to my other people with whom I consult, retailers and manufacturers whom I consult with, not only within the jewelry space, but even in other spaces like fashion. Okay, so that has been a big learning. The second big learning that came to me is on my consultancy front. I have literally started what I call a SaaS model for consultancy. I now offer consultancy by the hour. They have to send me the questions the day before. We schedule the slot and I answer them in the thing. This has given the rural small retailers an opportunity to think differently, use those ideas, and get into a business framework where they can compete with the bigger people. Like when I was talking a little earlier, I mentioned about that one guy who is the only shop within a 50-kilometer radius. And at that, when he came to me for the first time, he said, my problem is that I carry a 5 crore inventory, but my sale is only 1 crore a year. He doesn't even turn it around once. Okay. And why? Because all the weddings and everything, which are the main buying seasons, he said people go 50 kilometers away and they go to a bigger town where they know, they don't trust that I have inventory. So with him, we ran a program where we invited people, where we did a Facebook promotion only for that geographical region. And we arranged for buses and cars to get people to see the inventory. We went to some other smaller towns to show the inventory. And within that 2 months during the lockdown, he did his whole year sale.
That's
So
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, so these are opportunities that come and you are compelled to think about them now. Unfortunately, most of us take our ideas to the grave with us. We don't want to experiment. We don't want to try and implement those ideas under normal circumstances because we are in our comfort zone. This pandemic has, the biggest thing and the best thing that has happened is that it has shaken everybody around the world out of their comfort zone, and people have started thinking differently. So that's according to me the best thing that has happened during this pandemic.
That's great, and you're absolutely bang on. I mean, it's shaken everybody up, and everybody is trying to do things differently. And Angelo, I'll come to you with that. I know. I mean, you are a thinker, and you're
I was
one of
just
those
thinking
who
about that, Raghav. Angelo is one person who innovates pretty much every day with new
true.
ideas, new things.
True. So, my question to you, because you're responsible for both online as well as for your physical stores, right? Uh, so when the physical stores were not getting the same kind of footfalls or sales per square feet, what were the things that you were planning on? That you I know you, so I've worked with you for so long, so you must have planned for tons of things that you would want to implement for the next 2-3 years. Share whatever you can. What do you think is the direction of your company when it comes to retail, both physical and when it comes to physical stores? Also, I would like to have your inputs on the size, the actual format of your store, and the assortments that you carry. Do you see an impact there as well, or no?
Well, I try not to take any ideas to the grave. So let's just put it that way. I want to try every idea.
So
Then
that
I
I
want
can
to
vouch for. That I can surely vouch for.
I can agree with that too. Absolutely.
um, so yes, that's a very interesting question. Um, so the couple of things we were focusing a lot of efforts were before COVID-19, especially in the January, February. Our attention was more trying to we were working on trying to integrate all the different stores and inventory into one platform. And I think that that we had like a much greater time frame. We wanted to get it done by next year. Beginning next year was kind of our goal. And so because we I'm sorry, I got but when it keeps, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
We
yeah.
can.
Okay.
Yes.
When this happened, we had to really accelerate our process and try to really control our inventory. And because of that, our 1 year goal to try to control inventory in all our physical stores and our warehouses became now, like we need to get it done now. And with everybody working from home, it really changed everything, right? We were very used to people working from desks and meeting face to face, e.Soft office, my office. But when this event happened, it were like, all right, everybody scatter, but now everything needs to be automated. Everybody needs to see the same information. So we changed overnight. We changed the way we manage files, the way that we communicate, the way we, I remember one meeting.
You've gone on mute, Angelo.
Yes, some reason it keeps kicking to that. We overnight went from using 2 or 3 applications to trying to streamline ourselves and use Teams only because you get your phone, you had your cell phone, you had your. And that was one thing we really had to automate because we just couldn't get so much input from one place. So, and as far as our stores goes, so we accelerated our pickup of store process. We've accelerated so we're doing store pickup. So we're doing my omni-channel. We launched it about a month ago. We were launching on Friday. By Sunday, we already had.
Uh,
So that keeps going to mute for self.
Yeah.
Um, so that guys, it keeps going to mute. I'm gonna put you on speaker. 1 second. I'm sorry.
sure. No worries. No worries. Thanks.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
You can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Yes. Loud and
Yeah.
clear.
So we went from overnight going, sorry, we launched it on Friday. By Sunday, we already had 2 store pickups. Now we're at least getting a couple of stores pickups every couple of days. And little by little, this week, we're starting to advertise even more heavily. And within the next 1 or 2 weeks, we're going to really heavily promote it with our stores that you can do store pickup, curve pickup. That is something that if you look in January, we were not ready for. We were thinking more 2021. But with this event, we realized we had to do it now. It was very challenging. We had to do everything. We had to integrate everything, and then get it launched. We really was worried about the fall. This fall, we are very worried about it. So we're making sure all our stores are fully stocked, that we could do the store pickups, that we now have automated ways of ordering at the store level and then shipping it in our warehouse. And as far as store makeup, what we did was we took some of our data that we learned the last couple of months of products that we sold. Some of the supply chain has come back online. We are carrying at least now we carry about 1 month worth of inventory as much as we can. So our stores are more packed than ever. Because come if we do have a repeat of a second wave, we want to be prepared for this. So that's kind of the things we're doing. We have a lot of other ideas too that we're working on. But ultimately, the idea here is that we have to use technology to connect everything and to be rapid. And when I mean rapid is, we from one store be able to say, oh, you have this in stock, great. We're gonna pick it up. You could go pick it up at that store. So before, we really didn't have that information before, where one store did not necessarily know what the other store had. That's a different case. We totally changed that. It has improved tremendously. Our customers are happier. I give you a good example. There was a very good customer that bought a lot of paint from us from one store, but they bought so much that that store did not have enough. Ironically, that's one of our bigger stores, but it wiped out that store. But because he knew exactly how much inventory the other stores had, he actually went to the other stores and picked up the remaining inventory out. And he was very confident that they had it on the spot. He didn't have to call the manager. He didn't have to look online, make a call. He knew right online, oh, they have 10 pieces. They have 5 pieces. Okay, I'm going to my car, the truck. I'm going to go over there and pick it up right now. He didn't have to call ahead. He already knew that they were going to have it. So that's kind of the things it really helps to be able to manage the inventory. But definitely we're preparing a lot of things for the future.
That's great. That's good to hear. There's one more follow-up question, Angelo. I mean, when you talk about your physical stores, do you see the format becoming smaller with lesser assortment, or do you think that's not going to happen? Future stores.
You mean like smaller assortments? our stores is, our stores are hardware stores, and we tailor toward the convenience side of it. So we have our set products that we know we need convenience. As far as smaller store, our stores tend to be 10,000 square feet. It's kind of our spot. You do have bigger stores, a little bit more complicated to manage. Smaller stores are harder to be profitable because of overhead. Um, so that's kind of where we are. We're kind of a 10 to 20,000 square feet area.
That's
I don't think that our smart smiths are going to go smaller. I do think that the um, the customers wanting to pick up, wanting that kind of instant gratification. Hey, I want to go pick something up, or let it be curbside, or let it be. I want to make sure that product, that store item. If I'm going to go to the store, I want to make sure that product has it. That's, I think, where people are more like more really want that. They strive for that. We already seen it. The customers really, and like there was a case of customer where one customer was actually located in a different store. He was actually one of the first pickup customers, and he actually went to our other store because that store didn't have it. So the local location where he normally lives, and we are not 100% sure, but it looks like he might have shopped at that store because he knew about our website. He ended up picking up a product that literally probably took about 25-minute drive to go to the other store that had it. But the closest store was 5 minutes away. But that store did not have that item that he wanted. So he actually drove 25 minutes away for that product. So he really wanted that product. He was willing to drive 25 minutes. If you ever visit our local hardware store, that product was not available in that store because that's a smaller store. So I don't know if our product line is going to get smaller, but I do think that people want to make sure they're willing to go out there. If you have the product, I think they're willing to go get it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Vineet, as somebody in the leadership position of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? What were you guys thinking about, when COVID kind of stopped everything? What were you doing with your manpower, or what were you doing with, uh, when it comes to strategies and, deciding the future course of action? So what were your thoughts in the leadership team going on then?
See, the first thing was to keep the team motivated. That was a very, very important part of the story. So what we first did was to take away the entire pressure of the targets and budgeting. We said, forget about the budgeting, forget about the targets. Let's just do what we can do, and let's do it profitably. So the idea was to reduce their stress, because we did not want them to, get into a different mind frame. The second point was that we wanted to reach out to each and every customer of ours. So we actually wrote letters, which was addressed to the director of the company or of the key purchase head. And we wrote to them saying that these are the issues that we are facing, and this is how we propose to address them over a period of time. So if there was a delay, a letter would go out either from me or from my general manager to the respective clients. So effectively, we maintained those kind of contact and the kind of appreciation we have for our clients. Right from the end of April, we started this exercise. The third thing was that we actually took away all the money that was assigned towards print and television and any other, and poured everything into social media. So the amount of visibility that went in, that sort of created a demand which allowed to, and effectively reduce our manpower's need to step out. So what did happen that a footfall got created, and there was a need, or let us say there was a desire of a customer to be gratified, because he was not really spending money. They were just sitting cooped up in home. So if they came to us with all the precautions and everything, we did give them a wow moment of something coming out of the blue, which they never expected. So these were the couple of things that we started to do. But the process of writing to our major clients, that was very well taken. I mean, people actually wrote back saying, thank you. We appreciate that you are thinking of us, and we appreciate that you are maintaining a process by which you can continue to service us. So this was one part of the thought that we did very effectively. But most important was to keep our people motivated. And because, you were stopping bonuses, you were probably thinking of pay cuts and trying to retrench a few people. So we were focusing on the core team and making sure that they remain completely motivated. So incentives built around what they sold, not really against targets, but whatever they could manage to sell, we wanted to reward them, whether they were expats or they were locals. So the idea was to keep them in a proper frame, and that required a fair amount of talking, a fair amount of virtual meetings. Uh, so that is what I think helped us to come to a point where we could convert the visits into a process of gratification, what we call a retail therapy. And this is what is allowing us to build back, especially on the retail format. So these are a couple of things that happened along the line.
Great, thank you. So we are running out of time, but very shortly, starting from Hemant and then moving. Uh, as a business, as individuals, what was your biggest takeaway from the whole COVID episode, and how were you guys able to identify opportunities there? So starting with Hemant.
Okay, so, well, the biggest takeaway has been just keep innovating. You stop innovating and you will perish. Okay, so innovate or perish, that's the key word. And you innovate not only as far as simple business activities are concerned, but you innovate on all aspects that make a business successful. What I mean by this, let me give you one simple example, is that previously when we were working from a co-working space, we used to have all of our team members who would come in at least once a month and we would have lunch together. We can't do that right now. And we had it today. Once a month, I organize a breakfast for all my team members where I get food cooked and delivered across Mumbai so that we are all eating the same thing at the same time during a breakfast meeting. And we did it today also. Okay. This has like the kind of appreciation that you get from your team for doing something as simple as this is mind-blowing. And they are more than eager to do what you say without your having to say it. So you need to innovate at every stage. Even within my friends, I think we started innovating maybe about a month back. And with Arun, we've had dinners together where we all are having the same food. Now, in a pandemic, if for 6 months you're going to stay away from each other, I think this kind of collaborations are a must. So this is something that has helped us. The second, as I said, what is most important is the product. The way we are changing our product, I believe that is going to go a long way in helping us to grow our business also. And this component system that we've started following for jewelry especially is a total newbie. Of course, we had to change a lot of things. Like a lot of times, the bezel in which the stone is set would always be soldered to the rest of the ring set. We had to change it where the bezel now is not soldered, it is screwed from below. So that on the same shank, I can put 4 different shapes of bezels and I can give you a ring with a marquise or a pear or a round, whatever you want. That change is what is going to affect businesses in the long run. Maybe tomorrow I can just sell a solitaire to somebody which is set in a socket and he or she can change it at home and wear the same shank with different stones. So it's going to create opportunities as long as you keep thinking. You have to keep thinking. You have to keep innovating. And if you do that, I think there is nothing that can stop you from just going forward all the time.
Angelo, I'll come back to you with the same question. I mean, if you had to say one biggest takeaway, what was it?
One biggest takeaway. Um, I think I agree that you have to change everything the playbook that you used to use in 2000. What year are we in already? 2019. You have to throw it in the garbage and rip it up and just change it and turn it upside down. And because 2020 is a very different year. Something that used to work 2019 does not work in 2020. And I do agree that come 2021, when hopefully this is all over, it's not going to be the same anymore. We're not, they're not going to be like, oh, we can just go back to the way it was in 2019. I think things have changed tremendously. A lot of things have gotten accelerated. People want different, like that example of the pickup. I think people are going to expect stores to have omni-channel. And if you're not omni-channel, they're gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to be online. And I find you online, and you ship to me. I should be able to check what inventory you have in your store online, and if I go to the store, I'm expected to have it. Have it. And I think that stores that don't do that, or retail stores that don't change and involve in this area and don't embrace both the online and the physical, um, are not going to survive, because I think customers are expecting that to happen. They're going to take it for granted now. So and it's very complicated. A lot of technology goes into it. A lot of work goes into that, but it's going to be expected. So that's my biggest change takeaway.
So true, so true. Vineet, one biggest takeaway and a secret question. I mean, I'll ask you a secret question. Nobody is listening. Did we make more money on the inventory that you held during the pandemic? I had to ask you that. I truly had to.
So I think the one big thing which happened, that the complacency went out of the window. The thought that, okay, I know everything, I don't need to do anything. So that complacency went away. We became a leaner organization. People learned to multitask. It was not that I remain in my compartment and I must not do anything more than that. So it drove people to multitask, which I think will be the order of the day as we go into the new year coming. So people will have to not only do their job, they will have to do a little more than what they were doing. The other thing is that about the money. Look, this is a great market in that sense of it. Uh, if you have inventory, you are the king. You definitely, when I said, now we removed the targets, we said, look, listen, let's focus on profitability, because in terms of turnover, we may face difficulties. We won't ever reach where we reached before. But let's at least target the profitability, which allows us to pay you, which allows us to take care of you and take care of our customers. And one more thing we learned is not to say no. So earlier, we never used to sell anything except than what we had. We opened that format completely. And we said, okay, the guy wants anything related to the automobile or anything related to lubricants, anything related to solar solutions. We will make sure that we buy everything from outside and provide the single solution. So I think it allowed us to become a little more smarter in the process and a little more integrated than what we were. But still, what is missing, of course, is having a great back-end system. And that is what we need to focus on and build. Because I think ERPs, good ERPs and good retail systems will only allow you to survive. Otherwise, pure brick and mortar is a definite route to get.
So true, so true. And you add, artificial intelligence or business intelligence to an ERP, and that's when you realize the power.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys. We've actually gone way beyond the time that was speculated. But before I let you guys leave, we have some questions from the audience, from the attendees. The first question that we're going to take is from Tanushri. She has a question that has the pandemic accelerated your business to digitization? What do you see as trends in e-commerce and social media landscape? So, Angelo, why don't you go for it?
No. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that we also moved most of our advertising online. We didn't do any print. Um, After, but actually in 2019 we already started not to do that much print, but definitely in 2020 we eliminated all print. We do everything online now, advertising. And as far as uh, the e-commerce or the digitalization, I believe like virtual reality is going to become a big thing. We started experimenting that a little bit already, through our real estate side of it. You can see virtual tours and stuff in homes and apartments. We did a lot of that in that segment of the business. And we see the power, and we are trying to apply that now on the virtual side, on the physical side. How can we use virtual reality to um, uh, sell the product and to make it easier for the customer to see what they're getting? We already experimented also virtual tours of our store. We did that for one store, and it got a crazy number of hits. We Within a week we had over 500 hits. It was crazy. I'm like, people have nothing to do at home, but they don't want to go out, but you know what? They will take a tour of the store, and we were very surprised. And we barely advertised it. We really did not advertise it. We just put it out there, and we just had a lot of hits. So I think that's going to be more of that. I really do think so. I think it gets people excited. Maybe people look, oh, you know what? Look at this store. They have this, they have that. So when they go to the store, they already seen it. They already know exactly what they want. They go get it. So I think, people want that. And I use my daughter as an example. My wife and I, we were like, they have karate online with Zoom, right? And
I know what you're
my
talking
wife
about.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, my wife was like, should we sign her up? And like, oh, they give a coupons free for a week. And I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. And, my wife sends me a video of my daughter giving kicks in the air in the living room. I mean, that's kind of the next generation. If you think about it, it's like, are our kids ever going to leave the house when they get, I mean, like, and so I don't know. It's very interesting. And I think the next generation is all about virtual reality and AI and how that's all going to fit into it. So anyway.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for your answer, Angelo. Probably the next question, which is related, but I think it's more apt for your industry, Hemant. So the question is, they've not sent in their name, it's anonymous. So what will be the role of virtual assistants in retail sector? And because it's you, so I'll ask you a more specific question when it comes to jewelry.
So, as I said, we introduced AR on a website for jewelry in the US as little as what, 4 months, 5 months back. Okay, where they can pick up a piece of jewelry from the website and see how it will look either on their neck or their ear or their hand or anything. So, this kind of thing is going to be a necessity. But there will be a lot of product, and especially high-end fine jewelry, where at the end of the day, the person who's buying is going to want to touch it and feel it and physically put it around their neck and make sure that it's the right thing that they are buying. So while virtual assistance is going to be one and more important, because now people are not going to go to 5 shops to scout and check out what is available. That part of it will definitely be done online. And then once they have shortlisted the 3 or 4 pieces that they thought were good, they would go and check it out in a physical atmosphere. Or maybe the retailer will go and offer it to them in their home in a physical atmosphere. That's something. Raghib, we are working on something along those lines.
Yes, we are. Yes.
So that virtual assistant is not going to go anywhere. But what I would like to emphasize here is a term that I think has been coined quite a few years back, but is very rarely used and which is becoming increasingly put into practice, is what is known as conversational commerce. Okay, what I mean by conversational commerce is today you find, like I can just go to my Alexa and say, Alexa, where's my Amazon order? I don't need to sit and type. I believe that it's going to be such a big thing that I can tomorrow go and tell Alexa that, Alexa, I want to buy an engagement ring for about $4,000 in the range of $3,000 to $5,000. And Alexa will research everything and keep it ready for you and send you the links on your phone. And you just have to go and see the designs and see what you like. This part of conversational commerce is going to become very important, especially in the research. Because as people need to do more and more research, see, people are going to restrict their mobility. Even after the core pandemic is over, it will be a long time before people start becoming mobile the way they were, if at all they become that mobile. So the research is now going to be a very critical factor, even when it is sales from a physical store. And the example that Angelo gave of a person driving 25 miles because he knew that is not available in the store, which is just 5 miles away because of the website, is exactly what I'm talking about. True. Okay. So this is going to be very important. And also virtual everything is going to become increasingly important. So there is no discounting that, especially in the fashion space, especially in the jewelry space. Those are things, maybe even furniture. If you have,
Even
if I can just pick
even
up an image,
hospitality, I think.
everywhere.
Even
Exactly,
hospitality. Yeah.
absolutely. So there is no denying the fact that that's going to be a very, very important development in anybody's play today.
Great, great. Vineet, I have a question which is more related with from one of the panelists, Mr. Singh, in terms of manufacturing and trading. So he wants to know that would technology play a vital role in shaping businesses like yourself in the near future?
See, I think it's not something that is left to us. It is no more a choice of a manufacturer or a distributor to stay away from these situations. Uh, the automation levels are such that if I have to order, let us say, spare parts from a given site, it is now online linked. I have to go on the computer, open the web, and go onto his site and start ordering goods. They are simply taking that as an assimilation and generating an order. An invoice comes to you based on what you inputted. It is, the process of reducing human interference is going to levels which we still do not see. And this is happening whether it is automobile or automobile aftermarket, or I think in any process of manufacturing and distribution. The point that uh, it has to become leaner, it has to become much more efficient, and the only route to do that is to be connected. So I would say that this is only going to grow further and further. And as rightly said, people will hesitate to come out, and people will hesitate to even go to a showroom. Now people are selling cars on the net, which was unheard of. I mean, it was a very physical experience that one had to go and feel and touch, and only then do a purchase. But this is what is happening in this field or any other field that I foresee now. It will be a huge amount of uh, internet connectivity that will drive the business forward.
Thank you so much, Vineet. And this is one question that I want to ask all panelists, including Arun. Uh, Starting with you, Angelo. If you see, I mean, there are a lot of budding entrepreneurs, or people as of right now who are planning to get into the digital space or trying different things, because of multitude of reasons, not just one. So, what would be your one advice to them, Angelo? People who are trying to start their own kickstart or jumpstart their own business. What be in these difficult times? What would be your one advice to them?
Just to understand the question better, if a person wants to start a business during these times, is essentially
Yes,
the question.
yes, yes.
That's a very good question because starting a business, I don't know, it's very tough. I think that, I mean, the truth is that people can, it's very interesting because people do make money out of everything, right? They do make out like I remember many years ago, first time I went to Asia was with my wife. She's Indonesian, and like I'm used to the United States. It's a little bit more, very different. I went to Jakarta. Jakarta is crazy. I said, man, I told my wife that time, like, people really know how to make money out of anything. Like people selling water in the car and little like shops all over the place. Like it's a very, like I would never thought like that physical here in the United States. New York City is a little bit more structured. You have your storefront. Like it's a very structured system. And over there it's free fall. And I use that example because I think sort of like that's how the internet is in this age. It's like kind of a free fall. Whatever, pop-up stores, I would say example. I remember starting that it was starting to become a little popular in the US. People set up pop-up stores, just have a store for a month or two and they shut it down, or they put a little booth in the shopping mall and they shut it down, just to get a brand awareness for those products. I Somebody was telling me just a couple of days ago about watches, a watch that became so popular on the internet overnight. Within 2 years, 3 years, they were so popular, and it was just because they advertised it in a certain way. I think that really, if people, there are opportunities out there to make money, and if people, if you want to start a business, you cannot look at what other people have done, throw all those rules out the window, like the 2019 rule book. Don't read those books, and just really just come up with a different way of doing business. Because I think that um, like even I give you a great example. The pizzeria that's around my corner, and they never used to do takeout, like pickup, over the phone, and because of COVID-19, they do pickup, right? So like, but they were very old fashioned store. And for them, that was a big change for them. They're all very old fashioned. And so even they are starting to become like, you know what, I need to go with the times. They didn't do online though. They didn't do anything on the phone though. That was very funny. You had to call and give the credit card over the phone, but that's fine. They did change though. And I think that, and that's the case with the same thing with, if you're going to start a business, you just have to really get out of your comfort zone, get out of the traditional way of doing business. There's a new business, a new way of doing business, and look at artificial intelligence, look at virtual reality, AR, augmented reality. Just there's so many different ways of making money. I think and just to end with, I think before, I kind of see the reverse. Like before, I would say that was probably harder to do something online. You need a large capital, traditional way of, so like you open up a store. Open a store means you have to get a loan in the bank, which meant you had to get inventory. Like there was a lot of steps, a lot of barrier. I think it's kind of the reverse now, that you could try anything online, just a simple website, simple idea, simple advertising. And if you can follow that wave, you really can, for very low cost, you really can get out there. So I kind of see the reverse. I kind of see like where Jakarta is, kind of all over free fall. Everything works. Everybody's making money. So that's kind of how I see it.
Thank you, Anselo. So, Vineet, I'll ask the same question but differently. What's one thing that young entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs should avoid?
What should they avoid? They should avoid copying. That's all. No,
Ah, very true.
that's very, very important. First of all, they are budding. They are young. They have the tremendous advantage of technology at hand. And as Angelo was saying, you don't need a store. You don't need nothing. I have my housemate, and I was shocked to know that she trades in cloth. She buys a big than, as we call it, or a big roll, and she sells in pieces and makes money out of it. And I said, how do you do it? She says, but this is very simple. I have got an account with something called Payoneer, and I am in touch. I put it on Facebook, and 10 people contact me. And I said, look at this. I mean, how beautifully people are thinking, and how easily they are able to enter business without, these startup costs being massive. You can stay connected to your technology partners through phones, through internet, keep taking ideas and pitching forward a product jointly and making money out of it. So the cost of entry is so much lowered that you can literally start out of nothing. So that is one, I would say, that is an area where what Andrew is saying, it's going to just go on a free fall. So anyone and everyone with a good idea can always experiment. There is nothing to fail. You don't lose money in failing. So I don't have, like you were saying, sir, I have zero employees and I work with consultants and I'm sitting in Bombay. I have no inventory. So it's just about putting the product together to the liking of the customer and making it work.
So true, so true. Hemant, the same question to you, sir. What would be your one advice to all these young budding entrepreneurs?
First thing and most important thing is keep studying your consumers. Any business, and I always give this example so many times when I'm doing webinars for both manufacturers as well as retailers, is that a business is like a water tank at the top of the building with a pipeline running through and a tap at one end. That tap at the end is the consumer. If your tap is closed, you will be able to fill the pipeline and the tank for some amount of time, but it does not become a sustainable business. So if you are not understanding the consumer all the time, you're not going to succeed. The second very important thing in today's times, and especially the pandemic should have taught us that, is that you need to build your business in such a way that your agility increases and not decreases.
Very
You
valid.
have to be tremendously agile in today's world to be successful in a business. And of course, innovate, think out of the box. If somebody has done it, it doesn't mean it will be good for you. And if somebody has already done it, why go there? Because once you go there without any improved offerings, all you are going to do is compete on price. So if there is no improved offering, then why the hell are you getting into a price war, which is no way to run a business? And because you are not then running a business from any position of advantage.
That's a fact. That's so
And,
true.
and we are, as human beings, are very, very innovative. It's just that for some reason, we try to curb our innovativeness half the time thinking that people will think we are an idiot. Okay, or we are stupid. But
So let's become idiots. Yeah.
the fact is that it is only idiots and stupid people who have come up and succeeded in life.
Yeah.
And let me give you to just wind up, let me give you an example of innovativeness. There is this guy in Pune who were three brothers, and the three brothers had carts where they used to make those crushed ice balls and put flavor on it and sell, Now that the pandemic has started, all three of them have installed a steamer, and they offer steam to people on the road and in the slums at 2 rupees for 2 minutes to
I
help
saw
them
that
stay
video.
away from the COVID.
I saw that video. Yeah.
I mean, this is what we humans are capable of. And we will survive anything, no matter what comes to us, as long as we keep our mind open and as long as we are not ashamed to be called.
Right. Absolutely. So true. So, Arun, probably you'll have the last word. What's your one advice to all these budding entrepreneurs from Egypt, from UK, from India, from the US? We have people from Nigeria, from Vinny's from your country as well. We've got
Wow.
attendance. So yeah.
Excellent.
So what would be?
This thing, I think it's been pretty well said by all Angelo, Vineet, as well as Hemant. I think anytime you're setting up a business, there's a challenge. You've really got to think out of the box. And the word that I think is the right one is you've got to innovate. You've got to do things which actually you've got to address the situation the way it arises and take it from there. If you are able to create a niche for yourself by innovation, bringing in technology today is very powerful. AR, artificial intelligence, which Angelo said, Vineet said about technology. Hemant talked about AR. It's something that's really powerful. We should use technology to create some product or some service by which you can actually handle the problems, the challenges that are being faced today. So innovate, think out of the box. I think that's what's the way to go forward.
All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated. It was a pleasure, to connect with all of you guys again and for this duration. Thank you so much. And probably, Arun, would you want to close the session with the
Thank
panelists?
all the panelists who came. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Vineet. Thank you, Hemant. Hemant, it's kind of late in the night. He normally goes to sleep by this time, I think. Angelo is really busy at this time of the day. It's a peak time for him, and he spent more than an hour and a half with us. Same thing for you, Vineet. This is, I think, the time when you close your business. And thank you so much for. It's been really educative for all of us, and I think all the attendees will agree to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, Raghib. That was
Thank
a
you.
wonderfully conducted session.
Yes, and Raghib, I want to tell you that was a very well conducted session.
And thank
Thank
you,
you.
Angelo and Vineet, for increasing my knowledge. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I am also very thankful. But your beard and your mustache Is it because of the COVID or is it natural?
No. It has been there for many years. It has been there for many years.
Good, good.
So you guys must meet when Vineet you're here next.
Yeah, we did. Wherever you are
Certainly,
in town, let's get together.
certainly,
Angelo, come
certainly.
down to town. Let's get together.
Angelo
I
has
had a
not
It's all
come
chance.
over.
to Bombay.
I had a chance
I
to
haven't
meet
gone.
Angelo, so that was good.
We we'll meet up probably in the next year, 2021.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
anybody who asked me how old I am the same as I was last year because 2020 is not a year I want to remember.
So I stopped growing after 18. So I'm still
Same.
18. Right, guys. Thank you so much for your
Okay.
time.
Thank you.
Much
Thank you. You
appreciated.
have a
Have
great
a
day,
great day
Angelo.
and
Thank you,
good
Vineet. You have a
evening.
great
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you, thank
Okay,
you,
bye.
thank you,
Thank you.
Angelo.
Thank you,
Thank
Take
you.
Rajiv.
care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Ragib. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Vineet.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank
Thanks,
you. Bye bye.
Angelo. Thank you so much,
Thank
Angelo.
Bye bye.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
Arun. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye.
So, Hardik, can you take control? And if there are any questions, then probably Sumit, can pass it on to us.
Okay. Rajiv, I can leave, right?
Yes, sir, you can. This is now
Thank you.
for
Yeah.
between
Okay.
us and the
Thank you.
attendees. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for your time. Thank you.
Yep. So Raghib, it was a wonderful, a discussion over here. So I would request, the all the attendees, if they have any questions, from the technology point of view or from the, a marketing point of view, or how they want to grow their business, or what challenges they are facing. We are here and we can answer them and we can help them overcome here. So far, we don't have any questions. So
Yes, and if there are any questions, you can post them to us at info@esofttech.com. I'll spell that for you guys. info@esofttech with a single t.com. And thank you so much. I know it got a little, I mean, we had accounted for just 75 minutes, but it went on. So thank you so much for your time, and we wish to see you soon again with another event. And and if there are any questions for us, just let us know on the email that I kind of mentioned. Once again, thank you so much, guys, and I hope we all learned from this discussion. Thank you. Have a great day or evening based on where you are. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.